Now let's look at this question. The question says the top view and sectional front view of double riveted, double lap, zigzag butt joint. Okay, when it's double riveted, let me use a pencil, please. When it's double riveted, okay, double riveted, double lap, the same as double cover, double lap, okay, zigzag butt joint, zigzag, and it's a butt joint. So because it's a double riveted butt joint, I'm having four rivets. Because it's zigzag, I will have two real, and two imaginary. Okay. All right. Now we were only given that the diameter of the rivet is 24, and then they asked us to find the thickness, okay, and then find the length of the slab. The slab they're talking about is the cover plate, and then the length of the main plate. All right. Now I've already done the solving. Diameter is equals to 24. Okay, I know that d is equals to 6 root t. Okay, we know that d now will now be equals to, if I want to make t solid formula, d will now be equals to, divide by coefficient of t, which is 6. D over 6 is equals to root t. T now will now be equals to, taking the square of both sides, equals to d square over 36. What is d square? 24. So we will have to calculate 24 square over 36. So t is equal to 24 square over 36. 24 raised to the power 2 divided by 36. I'll be having t to be equal to 16 millimeter. So my thickness of main plate is equal to 16 millimeter. Now, having gotten this, now because it's a double cover, okay, the thickness of cover plates now, the formula for a double cover thickness, okay, it's T2 equals to 0.625 T. So T2 equals to, okay, so 0.625 times the thickness, that's 16 times 16. This will give me 10 millimeter, okay, and this is 10 millimeter. Now with this parameter we can draw. All right, now having established that, the first thing I'll do is to get my pencil, then towards the upper part of my paper or my sheet, I'll draw a straight line. This is our reference line for our main plate. And thickness of our main plate, which is T, is equal to 16. That's 1.6. 1.6. Wow, this is gonna be big. 1.6. Now, in cases like this, you're actually free to scale your diagram to make it a little bit smaller, because this guy looks way big. 1.6. Okay. Now, thickness of the cover plate is 10. That's 1. Okay. 10. And then this 10. This is for the cover plate. Wow, guys, this is so big. So please, I advise you, in case of something like this, please scale your diagram so you're having a smaller scale. Okay, this is something that I've actually done before, so I believe you guys should actually be following up. All right. Now, after doing this, remember, this is my main plate. This is my cover plate. My cover plate. Okay. Now, on the main plate, towards the center points, I'll pick any line and then mark it as our center points. Okay. Now, having done that, I told you guys before that this is boundary 1, boundary 2. Distance between the two nearest rivets that crosses the boundary is 3D. That's the distance between this one here to this one that will be here is 3D. Okay. So if here to here will be 3D, and from the half, that means half to this part will be 1.5D, 1.5D. Okay. So with my ruler, 1.5D gave us 36. Okay. 36. So I'll measure 36. This towards the left and 36 towards the right. Okay. All right. Now at that point, I will draw my reference line for center of our rivets. Make it as long as possible, please. Okay. Now after doing that, next thing I'll do is that I told you the distance between two consecutive rivets in a boundary is 2D. So this distance here will be 2. The wall is 2, the 48. So I'll measure from this point here, go with 48. That's the line I drew first to 48. I think they say it's double riveted, so I should see only 2 rivets, right? Double riveted, 2 rivets, 48, and this part here, 48. Okay, 48, 48. Okay, and here too, that my 48 I drew. Drawing center line. Okay. Now we have 4 rivets. So let's label them. We have real, imaginary, real, imaginary. Please think that if you do real, imaginary, imaginary, real, you are also correct. Okay. It's all portraying the same message. It's just that that's your mechanism of how you wanted to fix or place or rivet the two places together. All right, now having done that, now let's get the end, okay, so we can get our chamfer. Now, the angle of chamfer was given to be 15 degrees. But before we do that angle of chamfer, let's know the distance between this last rivet to where our angle of chamfer will start from. Now, the distance between the last rivet to where your angle of chamfer will come from is called the margin. You know, margin is the distance between the end of between the end of something to the beginning of the original something. I don't know if you understand what I mean. If you see a book, okay, they'll tell you, okay, look at something like this. This is a very good example. It says, do not write on the margin, okay? So the distance between the end of the paper to where you start writing from, okay, is called the margin. So the distance between the end of the setup to where you start putting the rivet is called the margin. I hope you understand. All that, okay. Without understanding, so with our margin is 36 millimeters. So from here, I'm going to measure 36 millimeter. 36 millimeter will be giving me about this point 36 and 36. Oh, sorry. 36 around here. 36. Okay, so I'll elongate this line. Okay, 26. 26 is now. At this point now, our angle of chamfer was given to be, okay, was given to be 15 degrees, okay. So at this point here, I'll put my protractor here facing upward. I actually have made a video on how you can do this angle of chamfer something on rivets, but I'm trying to like save time again. So I'll put my protractor here. This will be 90 degrees. I'll come 10 degrees, which should be 80, and then 5 degrees, which should be 75. So at 75 degrees, I'll mark, and then I will join the points. Okay, something like that. That's how you get the chamfer. So let me quickly do it and then fall back to you. So basically, I was able to do the chamfer with 15 degrees for these two parts. Okay, and from this ending point, I can extend it by 1 cm. You can actually make this in 2 cm or 1 cm or whatever. Okay, let's use 1.5 because it's actually looking big. It's 1.5. Okay, as an extent, but there is no constant measurement for that. Same thing to applicable here. Go 1.5. Okay, having done that, now let's start drawing our rivets. Diameter of rivet is 24. If I divide 24 by 2, I should be having 12. Now on this line I drew, I'll be marking from this center line 12 towards the right and 12 towards the left. Okay, same thing applicable here too. 12, 12 here, 12, 12. Then here too, 12, 12. Okay, so after marking those points, now I know that this is a real rivet. So at this point here, I will draw thick lines. And that 1.2 point and mark, draw thick lines. On the imaginary parts, I will draw broken lines. Okay, this part I'll draw broken lines. This is real. Okay, I'll draw thick lines. Thick lines. Imaginary part. Here I'll draw imaginary lines. Broken lines. Okay. Now having done that, I will get my compass. The head of our rivet is 1.6D. So I need to calculate that head is equals to 1.6D. So we have 1.6 times 24. So this gave us 38.4, which is approximately 38 millimeter. So 38, I'll have 38, I'll divide 38 into 2. I'll be having 19. So it's 1.9. Okay, I'll pin here, then I'll draw rivet head. Same thing to pin the center line here, draw the rivet head. Pin here, draw the rivet head. Pin here, draw the rivet head. I'll do the same thing for all other rivets. Okay, so after doing that, I have something like this. Okay, now next up, with my metal rule, at any convenient distance, say please on a straight line, please. Okay, I'll draw a straight line. All right. Now, after drawing this straight line, on this real part, I'll come for it with my margin as 1.5. The margin is what, 38. So on the real part, compared with 36, I'm going to say 36. After margin, then I'll go with my pitch, which is 72. 72 pitch. On the imaginary part, I'll start with my pitch first, 72. Then go with my pitch again, 72. Then go with my margin, 36. Wow, I was so lucky. It happened to end at the end of my paper. Okay, so this I said what it actually looks like. All right, so on the real part too, real parts, I'll go with first with 36, which is our margin, 36, then 72. Okay, on the imaginary part, I'll go with the pitch first, 72, then 72 again, then 30, 36. Okay, now on the 36 parts, okay, this last part here, I will then draw a straight line. All right, having done that, now I got my compass. Okay, with the radius I used to draw the head of this rivet head here, with this radius I used to draw this rivet head. Let me come to something that you can actually see. I don't know if you can actually see this. With this radius here, I'll pin as all those points I marked, pin there. Okay, and then draw a circle. Do the same thing too on this. Now I'm repeating this process for each and every one of those points I marked. Alright, after doing that, I'll come again, pin at the center of this rivet head. Distance between this to the stem of the rivet, okay? With that radius, I will start drawing broken lines. See pin 2 at the center. Now draw broken lines throughout. So after doing this, now at this point here, this part here, okay, I will elongate this down. Once I've gotten to this part here, I can thicken it down to the end. Then I also come with this part here, okay, elongate it. Once I reach here, I thicken it to the end. Elongate this line here too. Here should pass through here. So I reach here, I thicken it to the end of the plate. That's that for that. On this part, so I'll do the same thing. Then once I reach here, I thicken it, I get to the down. Let me quickly extend this plate. Okay. So here too, same thing. Okay, so basically this is how you can achieve or answer that question. Now after that, you can go ahead and then measure the length, because it asks us to find the length of the main plate. You can go ahead and measure the length of the main plate, I mean of the cover plate, I mean to say. This gave me 240. So you can go and mark and maybe write length cover plate is equals to 240. Okay, then I can also measure the length of the main plate. This give me 270. Length of main plate equals to 270. Don't forget, all dimensions are in millimeter. So that's basically how you can answer this question. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in our next episode. Bye for now.